Welcome to the viewers of Stories Viz. On the night of December 27, 1948, a Douglas DC-3 carrying 12 125 people and 9 crew members was flying from Miami to Florida. There were a total of 134 people on board this plane. The plane was flying comfortably at 180 miles per hour at 8,300 feet above the North Atlantic Ocean. At 8:13 p.m., everything seemed fine to the pilot and co-pilot, but suddenly they lost contact with air traffic control. The captain reported that he was experiencing a technical malfunction. This was his last voice, after which his contact was lost forever. The plane's last location was in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. The plane was caught in a violent storm. The storm was spinning the plane like a toy. People were screaming inside the plane. The plane was out of the pilot's control. All the aircraft's sensors, compass, radar, and all were turned off. The aircraft was flying at the speed of a hurricane. Half an hour later, when the plane emerged from the storm, there was only water all around, and the plane was falling downwards, when the pilot saw an island. It was an unknown place. Everyone knew that death was near. The plane hit a tree on the island. The tree branches shook the plane, and that was the reason why the lives of these 134 people were saved. People's lives were saved by hitting a tree, but it was a painful beginning. The captain was unconscious after being injured, but after regaining consciousness soon, he took care of the people and encouraged them. 10 people were seriously injured in the accident. 1 had a broken hand, another had a broken leg, and 2 people had serious head injuries. There was also an army doctor on board who immediately began providing medical assistance to the injured. When everyone slowly got off the plane, they saw where we were. This was a place that didn't exist on any map. There was dense forest, trees, and silence all around. The captain divided the people into 2 groups. One group was given the task of building a house to spend the night in the forest, while the other group was given the task of removing food, medicine, and essential supplies from the plane. They made a temporary roof out of broken pieces of the plane and tree leaves to protect themselves from the rain and cold. The next morning, they saw that the food they had received from the plane was running out, so they decided to look for food on the island itself, but they didn't know which fruits were edible and which were not. In the same attempt, an old man ate a fruit and died shortly after. This was the first death on the island, which shook everyone. After this death, people started to feel anxious about eating properly. There was also a boy on the plane who was interested in science, and after hours of hard work, he lit a fire with the help of his glasses and sunlight. Fire was not only useful for cooking, but also kept wild animals away. Meanwhile, a man on the plane tried to fix the broken radio. After some effort, he managed to send a signal, but there was no response because the battery was dead. When there was no sign of a way back, even after 10 days, the patience of 4 boys and 1 girl paid off. One night, while everyone was sleeping, they took a small boat made from airplane parts and went into the water and never returned. After these 5 people left, the remaining people realized that we would have to stay here for a long time. On the other hand, the U.S. government has launched a search operation to find the plane. The search operation was called off when nothing was found during the search operation. Meanwhile, the people left on the island began preparations to move forward with their lives. They made tools like knives and spears from airplane parts and stones. After several days of hard work, they hunted their first wild boar. 2 people were injured during the hunt. They wrote "help" with coconut leaves on the shore of the island, hoping that someone would see a passing plane. 6 months had passed. The people there had no contact with the outside world. The U.S. government had also declared the people missing. Meanwhile,
Some more people died due to illness and despair. They buried the dead with respect and began to support each other. Now there were a total of 114 people left on the island. At night, when everyone gathered together, they would sing songs and tell old stories of their lives. After about 1.5 years, a baby was born on the island, which everyone was very happy to see. They had been on the island for 2 years, during which time they had also started farming and fishing. The people there decided to build a large boat. After months of hard work, they built a large boat from airplane parts and wood. 25 experienced people were put on the boat with the hope that they would return with help. The boat sailed for some distance, but after sailing for some distance, a violent storm surrounded the boat and the high waves of the sea sank the boat. Only a few of them managed to swim to the island. 16 people died in the accident. 15 people had already died from the disease, and now 16 more people have died. Total deaths so far have been 31, while 5 people have already disappeared. Now there were 98 people left on the island. This accident shattered their dream of leaving here. Many people had accepted that now their lives would be spent on this island. 5 years had passed. Fruits and animals were starting to disappear on the island. The lack of food caused rifts among the people. Now, they were divided into 2 groups. One group believed that we should settle on this island because every attempt to leave had failed, while the other group believed that we should keep trying to leave. 7 years had passed. In the last 2 years, 16 more people had died from food shortages and disease. Now their number had dwindled to just 82. People had given up hope of survival. 8 years had passed since they had left. One day, suddenly, in the afternoon, a terrible storm hit the island. Strong winds and rain destroyed the house and crops they had built. They were sitting under the open sky and thinking that their last time had come. They had barely recovered from the accident when, a few days later, a massive earthquake struck the island. Mountains began to crumble and trees were uprooted. People began running here and there to save their lives. Due to the storm, the wreckage of the plane, which had been lying in the same place for years, shifted from its place, and some wires and objects buried under it came out, which led them to get out of there. After the earthquake, a man was examining the debris and broken wires when he found a radio. When the man lost the radio button, a faint sound came out, and his heart rate increased. He quickly picked up the mic and said, "Mayday! Mayday! This plane is a Douglas DC-3. Is anyone listening? We are alive! We've been stranded on an island for 8 years!" On the other hand, when an operator at Miami's air traffic control heard this message, he thought it was a joke. But when the person gave details about the plane, the entire control room fell silent. The U.S. government has resumed the search operation. At that time, there was no satellite. They only knew that the plane was near the Bermuda Triangle. On the other hand, a new ray of hope had awakened among the people on the island. They kept burning fires day and night to make smoke so that rescue teams could see them. 9 years had passed. One day, when the islanders woke up, they saw a spot in the water. The spot was slowly growing. It was an American ship that had come looking for them. Seeing this plane, people were screaming with joy, hugging each other. They were running and shouting, "We are saved! We are saved!" Those whom the world had considered dead 9 years ago were still alive today. They were weak, but alive. The story of their return shook the whole world. Their loved ones had given up hope of meeting them, but they were meeting them today. They cannot be described in words. Like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos.